Good evening, everyone. My name is Leslie Friedel, and I am the Chief Executive Officer at Visiting Nurse. On behalf of the Visiting Nurse Board of Directors, Foundation Board of Directors, staff, and volunteers, I want to welcome you to the 35th Annual Holiday Memorial Tree Ceremony and Tree Lighting, this year in a virtual format. It's pretty amazing that we've been having this event since 1986. This is a great event as we move into the holiday season to take the time to honor those that we have lost on our service. Though we couldn't meet in person this year, we wanted to have a time to gather together to honor those that we have lost. Thank you to our sponsors, the First Bank of Bern, Beers Mallers, Dale, Huffman and Babcock Lawyers, Highland, and as well as our media sponsors, WPTA and WISE 33. Their support is crucial in making this event a success. I would like to extend a special thank you to Jonathan Busaro and the Fort Wayne Children's Choir. This is their 11th year performing at the Holiday Memorial Tree. Our guest speaker is Lisa Williams, who will share her and her family's experiences through their journey of hospice care. I thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing your story. Though you will be watching in many homes, cities, and states, I encourage you to dim the lights and light a candle in honor of your loved one. Finally, I would like to encourage you to learn more about our Peggy F. Murphy Community Grief Center, located off of Homestead Road. If you need more information, you're welcome to visit our website or call us at any time. I know many of you watching tonight have attended faithfully year after year to honor a loved one you lost long ago. For some, the loss is more recent, and you are attending for the first time. We thank so many of you who have trusted us with the care of your loved one, and we thank you for the gifts and support of our organization's mission. We trust that the service will be a time of special remembrance and healing. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
Hello, my name is Lisa Williams. My husband Stan, my two sons Alec and Kyle and their families, and I would like to thank Visiting Nurse for the wonderful care we were given during the time my husband was sick with ALS. In 2016, Stan was diagnosed with ALS. Upon coming home from IU Hospital in Indianapolis, we were given 2 weeks of home health care, which helped tremendously as I work. After the 2 weeks was over, we knew that Stan would need more care than what I was able to give, and he was becoming more and more dependent on caregivers. We looked into home health care, hospice situations, and Stan decided on his own that it was time for him to undergo that type of care. We interviewed a few different companies, and we knew that after meeting with Visiting Nurse, it was by far the one company that we definitely wanted to go with. They were compassionate, they were caring and empathetic. They answered all of our questions that we had, which were many, and they assured us that the transfer would be smooth and seamless, which it was. They transferred our equipment, our supplies, and all of our medication, and within 24 hours we were under the care of Visiting Nurse. Although Stan was my husband, I became full-time caregiver for him. And that role changes so quickly when you have a spouse that is sick. When Visiting Nurse came into our home, I was able to go back to being a wife. I was able to go back to being his companion and friend. I didn't feel like all the burden was on me. Visiting Nurse accommodated whatever we needed as he progressed. We had music, we had laughter, we had family and friends in and out all day long, and Visiting Nurse did their job quietly and behind the scenes as needed. Stan passed away on October 22nd, 2019 in the early morning hours as the sun came up, and within the hour, Visiting Nurse was at our home taking care of all the things that needed to be done as we could be together. They didn't stop there. They came around a week later. I had a couple visitors that worked for Visiting Nurse check in on me. And throughout this whole last year, they have called me once every few months. They've checked on me, they've checked on my sons. We followed the motto, life is not easy, life isn't perfect, but life is good. And after having Visiting Nurse in our home, Visiting Nurse is good. Before Stan passed away, he was able to come to Visiting Nurse to the Health Grief Center and give I always called him his motivational talks. We dealt with Stan's illness head on. When he was diagnosed, the first thing he said is, okay, now what do we do? So he was able to come in, and some of you may remember him. It was in July of that year, Appreciation Day, I believe. And we always wore our Life is Good t-shirts whenever we had a medical reason or an opportunity to share with people that even though you're grieving and going through a tough time, that life is good. There's always something to look forward to.
In the words of Lou Gehrig, I echo his final message to the Yankees. I'm the luckiest man in the world. I have 2 wonderful sons, daughters-in-law, grandchildren, whole family, in-laws, and a wife of 37 years who is God's earthly example to me of heavenly grace.
He often quoted, "To live in the hearts we leave behind is not to die." Stan is still living through us and with us due to the care he got from Visiting Nurse. They were a very compassionate, empathetic, and caring company that came into our home and into our lives for almost 1 year. So having a loved one die in October gave me the opportunity. I've been through all of the firsts. Firsts can be hard, they can be stressful, but if you look back at the fun and the memories that you've had with that loved one, the joy that you can have with each other and the memories that you can talk about gets easier, I think. We've been through anniversaries, birthdays, all of the major holidays, and this year I'm actually looking forward to Christmas because I know that Stan is no longer sick. My kids are growing, my family's thriving, and if it weren't for Visiting Nurse and the care that we received, I don't think we would be in a good place that we are today. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of my family's heart for all the love, care, and compassion that you gave us.
As we enter into a season of busyness and hustle and bustle and traditions, many of us will have an empty chair at our table. And while everything may appear to be normal, there is a phrase from a sacred writing that enters my mind. And it talks about the valley of the shadow of death. It sounds morbid, but if anybody knows what the valley of the shadow of death is like, it's you and your family as you've experienced the loss of someone very dear to you. That loss may be so recent that you're still walking through that valley. It is my hope for you that in this season of busyness, that you'll be able to find some moments that you can reflect upon the blessing of the life of your loved one, of the mark that they made in your life, and the comfort that is found and the healing that is found in realizing the blessing and the gift that they were to you and still are. May you experience goodness and mercy and blessing and all good things in this season, and may God bless you.